Got to have my Viva, water but so much better. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better.
Viva sparkling flavored water, water but better.
For the everyday lowest prices on all grocery items, trust Low Cost Supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low Cost Supermarket, Sun and Main Road, Cunupia.
Good evening, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to See Results on IBN TV. And you're also watching us, so you may be watching us on Facebook on our See Results Facebook page, as well as the IBN TV Facebook page. All right, I am Sir Ijaz Ramsahai, and I will be going through some mathematics with you today, and I'll be followed by Miss Naila, who will be doing English Language Arts at about 8 minutes past 6, thereabouts. All right. So what have we been up to last week? We began looking at fractions, all right? So we have a bit more work to do in fractions. As a matter of fact, fractions is a topic that we likely have to revisit a couple of times before the SEA exam. We're going to try to do as much of it as possible, of course, knowing that your SEA exam is just around the corner in April, all right, the first week of April. So we have a lot of work to do. We have our work cut out for us. Of course, quizzes have been posted over the weekend, and they are there for you to do, to practice, to better yourself. And I'm actually going to be speaking with you now for a few minutes about the performance in those quizzes that were due last week, Friday, at 11:59 p.m. All right, Ms. Nylan, I had an opportunity to go through your work, in particular the creative writing. You know, our system itself would have been able to evaluate the English and the mathematics for us. All right, so we have those scores, and now we're about to look at our top performers and those who did very well and just missed out by a little bit, all right, as is our tradition on a Monday. All right, so weekly web class report. How did you do? How was your performance? So our class, it continues to grow. All right, we're up to 394 students enrolled now in our Edmodo class. All right, and I'll provide you with the information for those first-time viewers. We always have first-time viewers week in, week out who want to know how to get involved. All right, so we'll provide that information for you at least 2 times throughout the program, during my segment and during Ms. Nyla's segment. It's also, the information is also there in the cover area of our Facebook page. All right, so about a quarter of the parents are actively registered, along with the 395 students. And as we said, these are young children, all right? Okay, they are coming of age now to go to secondary school, but they are still quite young, and they may require some assistance in operating some of the features on our app and on our web page and so on. We often have sometimes students beginning a quiz and not knowing how to complete it properly, all right? And then what happens is they end up messing up their quiz, and then they are worried, you know, they have to message us to find out if we can delete their submission and to have them redo it and so on. So parents, at least for the first 1 or 2 times, just be there with them and help them so that they can navigate the program properly, all right? Also, you know, when we post a quiz on a Saturday morning, you don't have to do it that very instant. I know a lot of you are very eager, and of course we find this eagerness commendable, all right? But if you haven't watched our episodes for that week, remember that the quizzes are going to be based on the material we did that week. So what if you missed it, you might be asking, all right? Well, you have a number of options. So on IBN TV itself, your channel 8 or 108, depending on your cable provider, you can look at the reruns on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the same time slot of 5 to 7 p.m. All right, all of our videos are backed up on the Facebook See Results page under the video tabs. You can have a look there. And we also have a YouTube channel called See Results, right? So for those of you who love using YouTube, as I do, you can go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel, and the videos are usually up within 24 hours of the show having ended, all right? So have a look if you didn't before, and it will at least give you an idea of what it is required for you to complete the assignment successfully. You also are typically given almost a week to do them, all right? So you don't have to do it the very minute that they are posted, all right, guys? But despite all of that, most of our students, they are very competent and they are doing quite well. They're handling the technology quite well. They are, as they say, digital natives. They are growing up in an era where everything is tech-based. So most of them have their wits about them, all right? So we had 114 ELA, English Language Arts, submissions in the punctuation exercise. All right, 68% of the students passed with a 57% average. Now, for those of you who are watching week in, week out, you may find that this looks a bit lower than usual for English Language Arts. What's the reason for that? Ms. Nyla taught you all 2 new punctuation marks, which are the semicolon and the hyphen. And a lot of students did not use the semicolon where it ought to have been, all right? So parents, that's the reason why we give you this feedback every week, so that when we have topics that are problematic, you can help your child to revise, all right? So why do we use a semicolon? When do we use a semicolon? To join 2 independent clauses that are related to each other, all right? So it's used instead of a comma, and you can, of course, go back to Ms. Nyla's video. In particular on YouTube, you will find the titles and the descriptions to be very clear on what the content is on the videos, so you can look for that one on the hyphen and the semicolon, all right? And of course, in the future, we will reopen all the quizzes again so that the students can have a second go at it, not for marks necessarily, but so that they can help themselves to be prepared, all right? So that is a problem area. Learn about the use of the semicolon and when it's appropriate to do so, all right? That's the purpose of our program. So don't be alarmed, don't be disheartened or discouraged, all right? We always say that it's better to make these mistakes now than to have them made in the exam room, all right? So that's fine, no problem with that, all right? And in the mathematics, we had 111 submissions, and this was all about area and polygons, all right? Which is what we would have covered in the week before, all right? Not last week, but the week before, because those quizzes would have been given not this Saturday, but the Saturday before that, and they would have had until Friday, just gone there at 11:59 to submit. And most of the students passed, all right? 80% of our students passed with a 70% average, all right? Of course, that can still be improved upon. So parents, have a look at the results of your child. Go back into the quiz, view results, and you will see exactly which questions they got wrong, all right? And you can help them to understand where it is they went wrong, all right? And you can do that at your own convenience at any time on the Edmodo app, all right? So we have, as I said, we have 3 new assignments, and they have been posted on Saturday morning, English, math, and creative writing as usual. And they are all due this Friday, once again at 11:59 p.m., all right? So like I said, if you haven't seen last week's episodes, please, the quizzes, the maths and English in particular, as soon as you begin, you have the allotted time, whether it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever time is allotted. You have that much time to do it in, all right? So, and if you can't come back out, you can't go back in without a lot of work from our end. So it's just like you're really going into an exam room. You can't just go in the SCA exam room and walk out and come back tomorrow and pick up from where you left off, all right? It's simulating that exam experience. So when you have begun a quiz, you need to do it in the allotted time, and that is your opportunity right there. So be prepared. You have a whole week to do it, okay? As for the creative writing, you can submit and resubmit for the whole week up until the deadline. If you feel that your work needs improvement, you can continue to resubmit, and we will mark the last revision, all right? So that's some words about that. As for our top performer, last week we had a whole bunch of people who scored in the top. You know, they got full marks in English and in math. All right, now this particular student is an ever-present on our Edmodo page. She's always there when students submit questions. She gets to them before myself and before Miss Nyla and tries to answer. And a lot of the times, her answers are correct. Of course, we ensure, you know, we double-check and so on. But I really want to commend her. She actually was not on either of our lists last week, the top performer or the honorable mentions, because she would have lost about 2 marks in one of the quizzes. All right, so she's back with her bang this week and is the only person that got full marks in both the English and the maths. Congratulations, Angelina Andrews. All right, and these are our students who would have just lost a maximum of 1 mark in the English or the maths. All right, we have Joshua Barrow, a regular caller, Aditya Bodram, also very, very active on the Edmodo page. A student that goes by the name Miss Clinton, Shane Ramjit, all right, and ever present on these lists, and Indrani Sunarayan, all right? So well done to you all. Keep up the good work. And then in the creative writing, all right, we like to be a little bit lenient in the creative writing for one reason, because we want you all to be very expressive, all right? We want you all to use the tools that are being given to you to try, you know, to experiment so that it's okay if you make a mistake here or there. All right, we don't get too critical of it. So we are a bit lenient in the marking. We had a number of students who did really fantastically well. And of course, on Tuesday, you can look out for those reviews. All right, we are going to select some pieces of writing. No doubt some of them will be from amongst these who got, you know, what we say a perfect score. Of course, in the creative writing, is always an element of subjectivity to that. So congratulations to all of these people. Notice that Angelina is also here, all right? So she got 10s across the board, basically. And congratulations to our other students as well. And then we had some that fell just a little bit short in the creative writing, but their writing pieces were very well done, all right? We had Kevin Chen, whose piece I actually had on the program on Tuesday. It was very, very entertaining stuff, all right? It was all about using figurative language. And the line that stood out to me was that he loves being home because he has internet that runs as fast as a cheetah. All right, so that was pretty cool. And congrats again to all of these students. You know, these people here, they are always ever present on our list. They work very hard. Tiana, Brianna, all of these people, I see their names a lot coming up. And these students have very sophisticated discussions on these SEA questions in the group. All right, it's really a wonder to look at them in action. All right, so now we are back focused on our mathematics. We are in the strand of number. We have 4 strands, remember, folks. We have the number, we have measurement, we have geometry, and we have statistics, all right? We've done topics from all of them so far numerous times now, and we're just one by one trying to pick off those topics, all right, in the time that we have, okay? So we began our look into fractions, all right? We started looking at fractions, and proper fractions in particular, all right? So just recap, of course, this is the number of questions that comes in the number strand. It's the most, it's about half of the paper. All right, so this is just a quick recap before we move further into our look at fractions. All right, so we said that a fraction represents part of a whole. All right, so and that when something is broken up into a number of equal parts, the fraction shows how many of those parts we have or how many of those parts are gone, and like that, all right? And we explained it in detail, so feel free to look at last Thursday's episode again, be it on Facebook, YouTube, or even right here on IBN, all right? And we said that a proper fraction is one where the numerator is smaller than the denominator, and I showed you basically the anatomy then of a fraction, you know, the top number being the numerator, the number below, that line being the denominator. We said that the line is called a vinculum, all right? You don't really need to know that per se, but it's good to know anyway, all right? and we had a look at equivalent fractions. All right, so I put up some fractions on the board, and then we had a numerator, denominator missing on the other side of an equal sign, and we had to figure out what was the equivalent fraction to the fractions on the left or right of our equation, all right? And we did that by either multiplying or dividing both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Again, all of that is available for you to view, all right? And actually, I already started looking at some of the feedback from those students who did the quizzes already that were posted on Saturday. And one of the questions was an equivalent fractions question. And, you know, we call this an item analysis, all right? And that is where most of you lost your marks in the mathematics in converting those equivalent fractions, all right? So perhaps some of you need to go back and look at that video again, you know, go to your textbook, go to your notes. Of course, many students got it right as well, but it's just as a point of interest. It was the question in the mathematics quiz that most marks were lost so far, right? So we need to be very careful, all right? So I showed you all how we come up with these equivalent fractions, or what does it mean, all right? So they are basically fractions with different numbers, but they represent the same fraction or the same part of the whole, all right? So we have here a few scenarios. We have, well, it's actually the same scenario really painted in 4 different ways, all right? We have highlighted here 1/2 of a circle, and if that circle is broken now into more than 2 equal parts, we have 4 equal parts, 6 equal parts, and 8 equal parts here on the screen, all right? We can have an equivalent fraction to our 1/2, all right? We have 2 quarters. Notice it's the same highlighted area of the circle, 3/6, the same highlighted area of the circle, and 4/8, all right? And again, we explained that in some more detail on our video. Another way that we could look at it, I have another example here to look at. It also involves a circle. So what did we say about equivalent fractions? We said that we could make them equivalent, as I said a couple moments ago, by multiplying or dividing the numerator and the denominator by the same number, all right? So please look at that video, and if you didn't, we're going to do a little further analysis of this equivalent fraction concept now, all right? I have a piece of, or a slice of pizza here on the board, all right? You have a slice of pizza on the board. Okay, and it is cut into 12 equal slices, all right? So each slice of pizza is given by the fraction 1/12, all right? 1/12 is 1 slice of pizza, all right? And I think everybody out there can pretty much see that, all right? But what if my pizza wasn't cut into 12 slices, 12 equal slices, but it was cut into 6 equal slices, all right? So maybe this family prefers their pizza slices just a little bit bigger, all right? So it's cut differently here, all right? So it's now cut into 6, all right? Each slice of pizza is now 1/6 of the pizza, all right? But notice we still have our lines representing the 12ths. If you look at this area here, all right, how many 12ths are there in that 1/6 of a slice, or 1/6 of a pizza? There are 2 12ths, all right? There are 2 12ths. How did that happen, all right? How do we make this equivalency? If we multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the number 2, we'll notice that 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, and 6 multiplied by 2 is 12. All right, so that's how we can see actually here physically see it on the screen that 2/12 is an equivalent fraction to 1/6. All right? What if I did one more example here using our same pizza? All right, so remember our basic unit here so far is the 12th. All right, the pizza originally is cut into 12 slices, and we are looking at what if it was sliced differently. All right, so what if the pizza was just cut into 4 slices? All right, into 4 very big slices. All right, these guys love their pizza. All right, so everybody is confident that they can eat this a quarter. All right, so what is going on here now? Let's look at each quarter. What is it made up of? It's made up of 3/12, all right, or 3 slices when the pizza was originally cut into 12, all right? So we have here 1/4 of the pizza being equal to 1, 2, 3/12. All right, and how do we check that? We can multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the number 3, and we'll see that 1/3 is 3 and 4/3 is 12. All right, so 1/4 is equal to 3/12. All right, so I hope that we're noticing the trend here. And if we got really greedy and we just cut the pizza in 2, all right, 2 really hungry people, and they each want half of a pizza, all right, we cut the pizza down the center equally, all right, into 2 equal parts. Then what's the scenario? All right, as compared to when it was equally cut into 12 pieces. 1/2 of the pizza is now comprised of 6/12, right? And that is 1 multiplied by 6 and 2 multiplied by 6. All right. It is also equal to all right, when the pizza was, if the pizza was cut into 6, as we did in the first example, you know, this being 1/6, that being 1/6, and that being 1/6, it is also equivalent to 3/6, which is still equivalent to 6/12, and so on. All right, guys, so that is what we mean by equivalent fractions. All right. So I hope that that is very clear to all of you out there, and that it assists you in your study of the equivalent fractions. Okay. So that's enough of that pizza now. All right. So sometimes you are asked to compare fractions. All right. Not just to find an equivalent fraction, but actually to compare 2 fractions, to tell which fraction is bigger, all right? How do we know that 1/2 is greater or is bigger than 1/3, all right? Yes, that might be intuitive for certain fractions. If you have something broken into 2 equal pieces and something broken into 3 equal pieces, the person with 1 piece of that thing that is just broken into 2 must have a bigger piece, and the person who has 1 piece of the same thing broken equally into 3 pieces, all right? But sometimes it isn't so straightforward, all right? So we need to compare fractions, and it's very easy actually when we have the same denominator, all right? So again, think of our pizza. If it was cut into 4 slices, and I have 1 and you have 3 of those slices, who has more? The person with 3, all right? And it's both, the denominator in both of those scenarios is 4 because the pizza was cut into 4 pieces or 4 slices, all right? So this is a question here. We have to write one of the symbols in the box below to complete the number sentence. So let's briefly explain what these symbols mean. All right. We have our first symbol here, right? That is less than. All right. This, it points to the left, and it means less than. All right. So hopefully you would have encountered this before in school, but if not, well, you're learning it now. You're becoming familiar with it now. All right. We have the one that's pointing to the right. It means greater than or more than. All right. And then we have, of course, our classic equal sign, right? Equal to. All right, so we have to put the appropriate symbol between our fractions. All right, so we have 3/4 something, 1/4. Which is bigger? Of course, we can see based on what I just told you that 3/4 is going to be bigger than 1/4. All right, both of the denominators are the same. All right, think about it, try to visualize it. Both of these things make up a whole. All right, we have 3 pieces of one and somebody else has 1 piece. All right, who has more? The person with the 3/4, of course. So the appropriate symbol there would be the greater than sign. All right, now what if it isn't such a straightforward scenario? All right, we have 1/2 and we have 5/8. How do we know which is bigger? All right, well, there's a strategy that we employ, right? So that we must convert both of these fractions that have the same denominator. All right, so we represent them in terms of the same denominator. All right, so it's like our equivalent fractions that we did before. We have to find equivalent fractions for both of these that have the same denominator. Sometimes we need to convert both of them. Sometimes we just need to convert one of our fractions. All right, it depends. And we'll see why in a moment. All right, so this is the strategy. These are the steps that you must take. All right, we need to find the lowest common multiple of both of the denominators. All right, and we need to make equivalent fractions of the 2 fractions with a denominator that is the LCM that we just found. All right, if that's very wordy, if that's puzzling you a little bit, don't worry, we're going to look at it now more closely. All right, a worked example always helps us to understand the mathematics. All right, so once we've converted those into fractions that have the same denominator, all right, it's then easy to compare. Just like our first example where we had 3/4 and 1/4, we know with certainty that 3/4 is more than 1/4. Both have the same denominator. No ambiguity. It's very clear. All right, the one with the larger numerator wins. Okay, as the bigger piece, right? So if the numerators end up being the same when we are comparing, and we know that we have both of them are equal or they are equivalent, all right? And then the one with the smaller numerator will, of course, logically be lesser than, all right? So back to this very question that we were just looking at, right? We said that the first step is to find the LCM of the denominators of both of our fractions, all right? LCM meaning the lowest common multiple, all right? So what are the multiples of 2? All right, a lot of students get confused with multiples and factors. All right, so when you think multiples, think of multiplying or your times tables. All right, the multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like that, on and on. All right, what are our multiples of 8? 8, 16, all right, 24, 32, and we can go on and on, right? The first number that matches up in our multiples, all right? Here we have multiples of 2. The first one that comes in the series will be the lowest one, all right? So what is that number in this case? We have the number 8. All right, it is the first multiple of 8. 8 by 1 is 8. And it is the fourth multiple of 2. All right, 2 by 4 is equal to 8. And that is the lowest common multiple of 2 and 8. So remember I said a few moments ago that sometimes you'll have to convert both of them. Sometimes you just need to convert one. All right, because the LCM of 2 and 8 is 8, we have no need to convert 5/8 into anything. We're going to leave that as it is. All right, we need to convert or find the equivalent fraction for 1/2 in 8s. All right, we need to find the equivalent fraction for 1/2 in 8s. All right, how do we do that? We said that we need to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. All right, so what number do we need to multiply 2 by in order to get an 8 underneath there? Well, we need to multiply it by 4. So whatever we multiply underneath by, we also need to multiply on top by, and vice versa, right? So if we multiply our numerator and our denominator by 4, what will we end up with? We're going to end up with 4/8. All right, so basically our new comparison here is which is bigger between 4/8 and 5/8. Now, of course, you're not going to scratch off the question in the exam room, right? I just did that so that it brings some more clarity to you. All right, we have 1/2 and we have 5/8, and you're going to do all this work in your margins somewhere on your paper. All right, and all you're going to put here in this blank spot is the appropriate sign. All right, so 1/2 expressed in terms of 8s, all right, is 4/8. And because the 4 is smaller than 5, all right, we know that 4/8 has to be less than 5/8. All right, if I have 4/8 of something and you have 5/8 of something, logically, you have the larger share, all right, or the larger thing, actually, all right, because 4/8 and 5/8 added together will be more than one whole, all right? So we're not going to jump the gun on that as yet, but just know that 4/8 of something is less than 5/8 of something, all right? So we have to put our less than symbol in between there. So we notice the three options we had: the less than, the greater than, or the equal to. Well, by our calculations, we have found that 1/2 is less than 5/8. How did we do that again? We found the LCM of our denominators. The denominators is the number below the fraction line. All right. We convert one or both of them to get to that equivalent fraction using our LCM as the denominator, and that way we can do our comparison effectively. All right. So in essence, on your paper, after you've done all of that working, all right, don't be alarmed at me erasing anything. You can rewatch this on Facebook. You can rewatch it on YouTube. Pause, soak it all in. All right, so 1/2 is going to be less than 5/8, and that is the correct answer for that question. So now the ball is in your court, all right? We are going to open up those phone lines, and we have a number of these that we have to do. So look at those numbers there on our screen, right? And feel free to call and help me determine which fraction is greater or lesser, or perhaps they are even equal to each other. All right, we have 2/5 is something of 8/20. Is 2/5 less than 8/20 or 8/20? Is it equal to or is it greater than? All right, if you think you know the answer to this question, feel free to call us now. Our lines are open. Remember the steps. We need to look at those denominators. We need to find our LCM, all right, and we need to convert one or both of them into fractions whose denominator is that LCM. All right, so we have 2/5 and we have 8/20. 20. So I have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hi, evening.
Hi, good evening. And who am I speaking with?
Nicholas.
Hey, welcome, Nicholas. How are you doing today?
The answer is equal to because the LCM is 20. So once you find that, you can change it. You can change it 2/5 to
Right.
To 8/20th, and the 8/20th and 8/20th is equals, or you can change it into decimal fractions.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So well done, Nicholas. That is indeed correct. That is our answer. All right. So yes, there'll be more calls, but
Yeah.
I have to explain this off to our viewers. All right. So thanks so much. So is 2/5 more than, less than, or equal to 8/20? All right. What are our multiples here? We can do the multiples of 5. All right. It's just like saying your timetables, guys. All right. And what are the multiples of 20? All right. No need to go too far. All right. And of course, there are different strategies to work out your LCM. All right. Maybe we can have a short session on that one of these days as well. But hopefully everyone in standard 4 or 5 has a method that works for them to find the LCM. All right. I'm doing just the very most basic one here to make sure everybody is on board. All right. And we'll see that the LCM of 5 and 20 is 20. All right. One of our fractions is already expressed as something over 20. All right. So we don't need to convert that one. We need to convert this one. We need to find the equivalent fraction for 2/5 as a fraction out of 20. What number do we need to multiply by to get 20? We need to multiply the denominator by 4 in order to get 20. So we must also multiply the numerator by 4. All right. 2 by 4 would give us 8, and 5 by 4 would give us 20. So therefore, 2/5 is equal to 8/20. All right. So at a first glance, as somebody that's now starting to learn about fractions, you see 2/5, you see 8/20. You aren't thinking that those things are the same basically, all right, or that they are equivalent. But as we can see, they are. All right. So that's our method of figuring that out, students. So we have another question on the board here now. We have 2/5 is either less than, more than, or equal to 4/7. If you know the answer, the numbers are there on the screen. Feel free to call us and let's work it out together, all right? So I have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hi. My name is Naomi Mohammed.
Hey, welcome, Naeem. And can you... Sorry?
Naomi.
Naomi. Sorry about that, Naomi. All right, Naomi, you are also on our Edmodo page, right?
Yes.
Right, great. So what is the answer for this question, Naomi?
Okay, hold on, man.
Yeah. All right, so Naomi is just taking a moment there to work it out. What are our fractions? It's 2/5 and 4/7. All right. Naomi?
Yes, hold on. Just a second.
All right. All right, and you just need to lower the volume on the TV as well, right?
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So for those of you working it out at home, the first step is to figure out what the LCM of 5 and 7 is, which is what I assume Naomi is doing at the moment. All right, once we know that. Okay, Naomi, do you have an answer? At least for the LCM. What is the LCM of 5 and 7?
35.
35. Excellent. All right. So what do I need to multiply by in order to get 35 on both of these fractions? Notice that 35 is our LCM, right? And don't worry, viewers, we'll break it down just now for you as well. All right? So I can't leave either of these fractions the way it is right now. I need to convert both of them. So how do I convert 2/5 into a fraction with 35 underneath, Naomi?
You multiply 5 by 7 and 2 by 7.
Great. I multiply 5 by 7 and 2 by 7. How much is that?
4 over 35. 14 over 35.
Sorry? 14 over?
Over 35.
Right. And 4 sevenths?
4 sevenths is 30.
What am I multiplying by?
5.
Right. And what will that give me?
20 over 35.
20 over 35. Very good. And which of those is bigger?
4 7.
4 sevenths, right? So what do I need to put here? 2/5 is?
Less than 4 7.
Less than 4 sevenths. Thank you so much, Naomi. Very well done. All right. Well done, Naomi. Thank you so much for that call. All right. So the approach, guys, was the same. All right. But slightly different because both of our fractions here needed to be converted. All right. We can list those multiples of 5. All right. And those of 7. And we notice that the first one to match is 35, all right? So 35 is our lowest common multiple. And in order to convert our 2/5 to a fraction with 35 as the denominator, I need to multiply by 7 because 5 by 7 is 35, all right? And if I multiply by 7 below, I also have to multiply by 7 on top. So that's how I got 14 over 35, or how Naomi got it rather. And we do on this side, 4 sevenths, we need to multiply by 5 instead. All right, so 7 5s are 35 and 4 5s are 20. All right, because the numerator here now is smaller than the numerator on this side, we know that 2/5 must be less than 4 sevenths. All right, so I hope that that's crystal clear to all of you viewers out there. All right, we have another on the board. Do I have a caller on the line? Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV. Alaikum salam. Can you please lower the volume on the TV? Hello, caller.
Yes.
All right, and what's your name?
My name is Tamara Johnson.
Hey, welcome, Damara. Also an Edmodo user, I believe. Can you tell us how to answer this question? We have 1/3 and we have 5 over 18. We want to know which is bigger or if they are equal.
Okay, so the answer is less than.
Less than. And how did you come up with that less than?
Because 3 times 18, I mean 6. Actually, I was wrong. It was 6 over 18. Because 3 times 6 equals 18, and 1 times 6 equals 6 equals 6.
All right. So initially you said less than, but you still have that. You still agreeing with that?
No, I don't agree with that anymore.
So what is it?
It's more than.
It's more than. Very good. Thank you so much, Damara. All right. So again, our multiples of 3 people. All right. And our multiples of 18. We don't need to get very far. You'll notice that 18 itself is the LCM. Okay, so we have no need of converting the both of them. We just need to convert one of them, which is 1/3. How do we get 1/3 expressed as a fraction over 18? Well, we have to multiply that denominator by 6, and we do the same for our numerator. So 1/3 is actually 6 over 18. So 6/18 is greater than 5/18. All right, thank you so much, caller. All right, for your participation. All right, so that was that. Moving on, we have yet another question. And as we say, practice makes perfect. We have 6 over 21, and we have 2 sevens, and we'd like to know which is greater or lesser, or if they are in fact equal to each other. All right, so I have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hi, I would like to answer a question.
Okay, can you please lower the volume on the TV?
Okay, it's lowered.
All right, so 6 over 21 and 2 sevens. Can you help me solve this problem?
21 and 7.
Yeah.
21 and the LCM of that is 3.
All right. Are you sure that the LCM of 7 and 21 is 3?
Yes.
Okay, and what would you do next with that 3?
Multiply the 6 by 3, and then multiply the 21 by 3. Sorry.
All right. Okay, what's your name again, caller? All right, I lost that caller there. All right. I was asking your name, so I can address you directly, but that's fine. So we lost that caller. The LCM of 21 and 7, it is not 3. All right. What is the lowest common multiple of 7 and 21? Of course, it can be less than 7 or 21. All right. It would be at least equal to the larger of them. So I have another caller on the line right now. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hello, good day.
And who am I speaking with?
Jerome Thomas.
Hey, welcome, welcome. Can you help me solve this problem?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. First of all, what is the LCM of 7 and 21?
The LCM of 7 and 21 is 21.
Excellent. It's 21, right? All right, caller. Right, no, the previous caller, no hard feelings, right? It's okay. It's fine to make mistakes on this program. And what do we do now knowing that the LCM is 21, dear caller? All right. That caller also got scared there. All right, so the LCM is 21. So we have no need of converting this fraction. All right, we need to convert our 2 sevens. I have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hi.
Hi, good day. And who am I speaking with?
Alexander.
All right, welcome to the show. Can you help me convert 2 sevens to a fraction that is over 21?
Yes.
Go ahead.
What I did is different from what you're doing.
All right, go ahead. Tell us.
I divided 21 into 7 and got 3. And multiply 7 by 3.
Right.
Multiply 2 by 3. Got 6, and my answer is equal.
All right, excellent. So 2 sevens is equal to 6 over 21. All right, thank you so much, caller. So that is our answer. All right, that 6 is equal to 21. And our caller said that she divided 21 by 7, all right, and realized that 7 goes into 21 3 times. So she multiplied this side by 3 in the denominator as well as the numerator, all right? Now that won't always work out. Look at this example that we did a while ago. All right, we have 2/5 and we have 4 sevens. Can I divide 5 into 7 or 7 into 5 and get a whole number as our answer? No, we won't, all right? We're going to have a remainder or another fraction there or a decimal in itself, all right? So while that may work in some cases, all right, that's the reason why we teach you the safe way, the safe bet, all right? You can't go wrong with this method of finding the LCM, whether or not the one denominator can divide exactly into the other. All right, but her answer was correct. All right, the LCM of 7 and 21 is 21, so we need to multiply by 3 on this side to get our 21, and we multiply 3 on top likewise, and we end up with both of those fractions being equal to each other. All right, so I'm going to take a short break right now, and I'll be back with you in a couple minutes, and we'll continue and wrap up this session before we have Miss Nyla on for English language arts. So I'll see you in a couple moments. All right, good evening, assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to C Results on IBN TV. I am Sir Ijaz, and we are doing mathematics, all right? We just had a nice, lovely session of your calls in comparing fractions, all right? So this, we did equivalent fractions, comparing fractions. They are very much interrelated, all right? We also have another concept that's very related, and that is of reducing fractions, all right? So we can have fractions that are in their lowest terms, and we can have fractions that are not in their lowest terms. What does that mean? All right, a fraction is said to be in its lowest terms if there is no whole number that can divide both the numerator and the denominator exactly at the same time. That is a mouthful, all right? But what if we have an example? All right, let's look at an example here. We have, let's do some examples of fractions that are in their lowest terms already. Okay, we have a fraction 2/3, for example, all right? Is there any whole number that we can divide both the numerator and the denominator by to get a different fraction? No, the only number we can divide both of those by without any remainder is the number 1, all right? And if we would divide 2 and 3, both of them by 1, we're just going to end up back with our same 2/3, all right? What about 3/4, all right? Is there anything that we can divide into 3 and 4, all right? Any common factors, all right? Numbers that can divide exactly into both of those numbers that will change our fraction into something else? No, we can't. We can only divide the top, the numerator, and the denominator there by the number 1. All right, without there being any remainders. So 2/3 and 3/4 are said to be in their lowest terms. All right, those are fractions that are said to be in their lowest terms, as opposed to if I have a fraction like 4/6, for example, 4/6, right? Okay. Is there any whole number that I can divide both the numerator and denominator by at the same time? All right, in this fraction, the answer is yes. What is that number? That number is 2. All right, 2 is a common factor of 4 and 6. It also happens to be the highest common factor of 4 and 6. All right, and if we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, what will we get? We're going to get 2/3. All right, so now we have a fraction that is in its lowest terms, all right? So when we take a fraction and we break it down all the way into its lowest terms, that is what we mean by reducing a fraction. All right, that's what we mean, or that's what we imply when we speak about reducing a fraction. So if a fraction is not in its lowest terms, this means we can find factors which are common to both numerator and denominator and divide them at the same time in order to reduce our fraction. All right, so as we do, we are going to give you an opportunity now to help me reduce some fractions. All right, so this is a bit of polishing up on our concepts here in proper fractions. We've looked at equivalent fractions, comparing fractions, and what about reducing fractions? All right, so those numbers should be up on your screen now. We have a fraction here that's 10 over 14, and I'd like you to help me reduce this fraction. I have a caller on the line already. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello?
Hi, and who am I speaking with?
Kira?
All right, you need to lower the volume on that TV all the way down, right? Because I'm getting a lot of feedback, but nice to have you on the program.
Hi, the answer is 5. The answer is 512.
The answer is?
512. 57, sorry.
5-7 is Nicholas.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Nicholas. All right.
No,
So what?
I know a custom that you come on the air one time now.
All right, no problem, no problem.
Yeah.
So what number did you divide the numerator and denominator by, Nicholas?
I divided by 2.
By 2, okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, so you divided them by 2.
2 and you'll get 57.
5 sevens. Can that be reduced anymore?
No.
No, excellent. So this fraction is said to be in its what?
Lowest term.
Lowest terms. Well done, guys. You heard it from Nicholas, all right? So thank you so much, Nicholas, for that answer. All right. What about 4 over 24? All right. Do I have anyone willing to help me to reduce this fraction, 4 over 24, to its lowest terms? All right. Remember, we are looking for numbers that can divide equally, or divide, sorry, at the same time into the numerator and denominator without leaving remainders. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hi,
Hi, and who am I speaking with?
Alexa Roy.
Welcome, welcome. Can you help me reduce this fraction?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I divided 4 into 4, and since 4 was going to 24 as well, I did 4 into 24.
All right, and what will that give me? 1/6, right?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for that call. All right, so just a point to note here, guys. You could have, in this case, you use the highest common factor, right, which is always the best way to go. But sometimes the highest common factor, you know, you're working on the fly, you're moving very quickly, and you just notice a factor. All right, so let's say you thought that the number 2 could divide into 4 and to 24 without leaving a remainder. All right, would you be wrong? Well, not entirely, because you'll have another step, right? You divide the top and the bottom, and you're going to get 2 over 12. I'm just putting this here for demonstrative purposes, all right? Of course, if you know the highest factor, highest common factor, that's better. But if you just noticed that 2 could go into 4 and 24, and you got 2 12s, all right? Can that be divided any further? Can it be reduced further? Yes, you'll notice that 2 can still go into 2 and 12 again, and you divide both the numerator and denominator, and you end up with 1/6. All right? I'm going to do one more example now. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hello, good day.
Hi, good day, and who am I speaking with?
Sharon Thomas.
Welcome to our program. I have a fraction here on the screen, 11 over 23. Can you tell me how to reduce this fraction?
Okay. Can you just give me a second, please?
Sure. All right, so while he's taking that second, I'm going to share a little secret with our viewers. This is actually a trick question. All right. So can we reduce this fraction? That is the question. We have 11 over 23.
Okay, I get it.
What is it?
I think it is reduced to its lowest term already.
Excellent job. All right, so I tried to trick you there, but you did not fall for it. All right, there's no number besides 1 that can be divided into both 11 and 23 without there being a remainder. All right, so 11 over 23 is already in its lowest terms. Excellent job. Thank you so much for calling. All right, so I just want to leave you, ladies and gentlemen. We had a few more to do, but that's fine. To just tell you for a minute or two about our Edmodo site, our Edmodo class. All right, so you visit edmodo.com and you have all of these wonderful benefits of having quizzes and assignments posted to you every week based on the content that we've done. All right, so Tiana, who is one of our consistently high performers, she submitted a question based on mean, all right, and it actually tested your knowledge of mean and mode at the same time, all right. So the sum of 6 numbers is 96, and we are given 3 of those 6 numbers. We are told that the mode occurs twice, the mode meaning the mode is the number that occurs the most, all right, and the mean is 2 less than the mode. What are the other 3 missing numbers? And before I had to answer anything, one of our students, Miriam Tanghap, she gave a wonderful breakdown and a wonderful analysis which was endorsed. All right, we don't have the time to go through it right now, but I just want to say that our community of students are really helping each other, and I'm quite proud of them. So do sign your children up on our edmodo.com, right? Go to edmodo.com and use the code 6KJQ3Y and please register. And we have quizzes live at the moment, all right? So I'll be leaving you now, and we'll take a short break before the Maghrib Adhan, and Miss Naila will be back with you at approximately 10 minutes past 6. Thank you so much for watching. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot of exciting English language arts for you to do today. So keep viewing, and we'll be back at around 10 past 6. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, guys, and welcome to C Results. Thank you for joining me. I'm Miss Nyla, and I will be taking you through the next 45 to 50 minutes so for ELA. And of course, good evening to all our viewers out there on our Facebook Live, whether it's on the C Results page or the IBN TV page as well. So as you know, we have been doing so far quite a lot of rules associated with task 3 in section 1 of the ELA paper. So for this section, what we usually have to do, or what we are required to do, you were able to, or you have to, identify an error as well as correct that error. So you are awarded 2 marks per question in this section or per line. So however, today we are still on the topic or in the task of, talking about grammatical errors and, finding how you should go about, correcting your answers. So we're just going to take a step back a little bit from what we have been doing in terms of these sample pieces. So we have been looking at a lot of rules that we need to learn. And because we have been doing it in this style, we are going to cover a lot of rules, that will help you to identify the error. So it's one thing that we are doing all the practice as well, but you also need to learn all this content. So make sure that, you have your notepads with you or whatever it is, ready to take some notes. It's going to help you. It's going to serve as a refresher, especially when you have all these assignments to do at home and you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, I can't remember, the rule for this particular, this subject-verb agreement topic or, whatever it is going to help you, right? So last day we started off with adverbs and we did adverbs of time. We talked about adverbs of place as well as adverbs of manner and adverbs of degree. Now on the Edmodo page, if you're a frequent user, you would see that we already have up a quiz on adverbs. So this week's quiz, or last week's quiz rather, is actually based on everything that we covered last week. And just a point to remind you guys, the quiz is usually based only on what we have covered for that week, right? We try to do it that way so you can assess yourself on what you have learned. So I noticed that quite a few of you, you're getting some of the questions wrong there where you have to identify what type of adverb was used. Maybe because you probably did not see, view last week's episodes, or you probably didn't have the time. Just be mindful that you can always go on YouTube and look for these videos. They are available for you, as well as you can go back on the C Results page and rewatch the videos, right? So if you did not have the chance to do so, please do so before attempting the quiz. It's going to help you a lot. So this here is just a little refresher, a recap on what we did last week, and then we're just going to tie up adverbs all together. We have probably just one more part to cover in adverbs, and then we are going to move on to some subject-verb agreement rules that we need to talk about. So we know adverbs of time tell when the action was done. Now, we talked about, or we looked at, quite a number of adverbs associated with adverbs of time, right? So all those words like soon and all of those, right? There was a nice list prepared for you. Please go back and refresh your mind on that list. Adverbs of place tell where the action was done. It's as the name suggests. Adverbs of manner tell how an action is done, okay? Adverbs of degree tell to what extent, how often, how much, and how far. Again, for all of these types of adverbs, a list was prepared for you so that you'll have a clearer idea on what I mean when I say adverbs of manner or probably adverbs of degree. So because you might be able to tell, or identify the adverb in the sentence, but for you to tell us, or even for yourself to identify, well, what type of adverb is this? Is this an adverb of manner? Is it an adverb of time? You need to know that as well, okay? It's very handy, especially for creative writing, as you may know. So here, we have a couple sentences, and for these sentences, what we're going to do, we're going to ask you to tell me, well, you have to identify, the adverb in the sentence, of course, and then tell me what type of adverb it is. So it's similar to the Edmodo exercise. So if you're getting trouble with that, or you're now viewing for the first time, this is what we're going to do. So the numbers are going to be up on the screen any minute now. You're going to call us and identify the adverb for me and tell me what type of adverb. For example, let's look at number 1. The children slept soundly. So first of all, we are identifying the adverb soundly, right? That's very easy for us to identify. This is one of the adverbs here that ends in ly. It's also what we know as an adverb of manner, because it tells us how the child or how the children slept, right? So the first one there, your adverb is soundly, and manner or adverb of manner there is a type of adverb used in that sentence. What about number 2? The room was rather cold, right? So we have a call on the line. I'm going to take this call. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Nicholas.
Hi, Nicholas. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Right. So we're on number 2 here.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the adverb in the sentence?
Well, is cool, right? Is the adverb. So I think it's how, because it says how cool it is.
So what is the adverb there?
Adverb of manner.
Adverb of manner. But which word here is the adverb?
Cool.
Are you sure?
No, sorry, rather.
Rather. So rather here tells you to what extent, right? So if we go back here, and adverbs of degree tell to what extent, how often, or how much, or how far. So here, so here now the room was rather cold. What kind of adverb will that be?
It will be a,
Look at the list again. Is it telling us when?
No, it's not telling us when.
Is it telling us where?
No.
It's telling us how? Possibly.
No, it's telling us adverb of degree.
Degree, right? Very good. So that's your most appropriate answer there. Rather cold tells us to what extent, right? Or how much that place is feeling cold. So it's adverb of degree. Excellent job, Nicholas.
Okay.
Great. So we have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, good evening. Welcome to See Results.
Hi,
Hi, what's your name?
Naomi Mohammed.
Nice to have you with us, Naomi. So we're on number 3 here. So can you identify the adverb in the sentence to me?
Yes,
Okay.
annually.
Annually. What does the word annually mean?
Every year.
Every year. So we know that's our adverb. So this will be an adverb of?
Time.
Excellent job, Naomi. Thank you so much for your call. Right, guys? So the sentence says, sports day is held annually at our school. It's telling us how often, right, or when, rather, the sports day takes place, right? So it's an adverb of time. Let's go on to number 4. She will most definitely win the competition. She will most definitely win the competition. What type of adverb is that? And number 5, we looked everywhere for the lost kitten. So first, remember, you have to identify the adverb and tell me what type. We have a caller there on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello,
Hi, what's your name?
Jesse Barrow.
Nice to have you with us. So number 4 here, what is the adverb in the sentence?
Adverb of time.
For
Degree.
number 4, right? And what is
Definitely.
right? And what is your adverb here?
The adverb is definitely.
Definitely. Excellent job. And it's an adverb of
Degree.
degree. And since you already said number 5, so tell us, help us with number 5 while you are here. We looked
Number 5.
everywhere for the lost kitten.
The adverb is everywhere.
Everywhere. Right. And it's an adverb of
Please.
place. Excellent job.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Have a great evening. Right? So thank you, callers, so much for participating here. So this is just a reminder because we already covered this last day, right? So it serves and it will help you again once more for your Edmodo quiz, right? So let's move on with adverbs. So that's where we stopped last day. So we are continuing here. So just as we have positive, comparative, and superlative with adjectives, we have positive, comparative, and superlative adverbs as well. So do not be confused with your adverbs and your adjectives. Now, I don't think that you will be, because we have been doing formation of words, right? So we have been changing adverbs to nouns or nouns to adjectives and all of those things. So I think you have a kind of clear idea, I would say, about words or their parts of speech. So we have here the positive, the comparative adverb, and your superlative. And here are just some examples for you. It's similar to the adjectives, where we have like soon, sooner, soonest, and then we have irregular ones, bad or badly, worse, worst, far, farther, farthest, or even well, better, best, much, more, most. And then you have these here where you use more and most. And if you are just joining us, right, for your first time maybe, or even a couple weeks ago, earlier on, when we just started the program, we spoke about comparative and superlative, and I mentioned when to use the comparative form and when to use the superlative form. Once more, guys, all these videos can be found on YouTube and on Facebook, right? So moving on, often, more often, or most often, or frequently, more frequently, or most frequently, right? So knowing now that you have comparative adverbs and superlative adverbs, we are going to use some of those to answer these or complete these sentences. So the lines are going to be open for you. I'm going to probably do number 1 as an example. So I'm going to show you what I want here. So we have to either use the comparative or the superlative form of the adverb. Of all the animals on the farm, the dog ate the... So, and I have greedy here, my verb greedy in, not my verb, sorry, my adjective greedy here in brackets. So now I have to look at this and I have to see it whether it's in the comparative form or the superlative form. But remember, I'm not using it as an adjective, I'm now using it as an adverb. So of all the animals on the farm, the dog ate the most greedily, right? Most greedily. So I have done number 1 for you, and the reason why it's not greediest there, because we don't want to use an adjective. Remember, this is an adverb exercise, okay, in the comparative or superlative form. So I have a call on the line. I'm going to take this call for number 2. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, good evening. Welcome to See Results.
Yes, hello.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Zahrali.
Nice to have you with us. So we're on number 2 here. So would you like to give me the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Earlier. Right. So how did you know to use earlier here? What was your clue in the sentence? Did you just know, or was there a clue for you?
Just now.
Okay, no problem.
I just know.
Okay, no problem with that as well, okay, once your answer is correct. So thank you so much for your call. So she said there earlier, which is correct. However, what I would just like to point out here, my sentence, Jane arrived at the venue, in brackets I have early than everyone. In the comparative form, or what helps us to know that we must use the comparative form is the word than, okay? When you have than before your adverb or adjective or whatever it is, you know that you must use the comparative form. So that is your clue that I was asking her about there, right? But of course, she's also correct. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, good day. It's Nicholas again.
Hi, Nicholas. So
Yes, for number 3,
yeah,
it's a comparative, right? So it's sweeter.
Sweeter. Great job, Nicholas. Would you like to do number 4?
Yeah.
All right, try. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can get a second, please?
Of course.
Okay. remember when you said the comparative is well, right? And that doesn't change?
No.
It's well, and
Look, it's here for you.
Pardon?
It's right on the screen for you. So we have well. Are you seeing this here?
Yeah.
Well, better,
And
best. So better will be used to compare.
Right.
Right, we use better when it's 1 or 2 persons. You're comparing between them. But best when it's 3
right.
or more.
And then best
So-
will be the superlative.
So very good. So it will be
Best.
best.
So, she can read best out of all of our students.
Great job, Nicholas. Thank you so much for your call, right? And of course, he's always excited and pumped to be with us, and we love to have him on this program. So let's go back to number 3 here, right? Patsy, okay, actually I have another call on the line, so I'm just going to take this call and then I'll explain all. So good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi,
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Maya.
Hi, Maya. So number 5, what's the answer for number 5?
Okay, can I have a second?
Of course.
Jack played the tune melodiously.
Right, but I already have melodiously in brackets here, so a word must come before melodiously. What word do you think? Which word there?
Most.
Sorry?
Most.
Most. You are correct. So it is actually most melodiously, right? So you are correct. Thank you so much for your call. Right, so we're going to just hold up there on the calls for a little bit. So I'm just going to go back here to number 3 where Nicholas helped us with. Patsy sang sweeter than her sister. Again, we know it's the comparative form as we have the word than right after. Okay, so we know we have to compare between 2 things. So we use the comparative form. Hence the reason is sweeter and not sweetest. Number 4, she can read something out of all her classmates. So if I'm comparing her to her classmates would not be 1 or 2 or 3 persons. It would actually be more than 3 persons. So in that case, I must use the superlative form. However, as Nicholas pointed out, well is one of the regular words here, and it's actually well, not weller, not wellest, but well, better, and best. So in its superlative form, which is actually best, I will use best here, okay, to complete this sentence. So great job there, Nicholas. Jack played the tune, and here I gave you a hint here, most melodiously, right? So it's like these to the bottom here where we have patiently or more patiently and so on. Melodious is actually 3 syllables, and we know when we have 3 syllables or more, we use most with that word. So as Jack played the tune most melodiously, right guys? So that brings us there to the end of our adverbs, right? We have discussed quite a lot about adverbs. I'm pretty sure we covered everything that we needed to in terms of getting you ready for SEA with adverbs. So if you see an error or come across a grammatical error in a sentence that is related to adverbs, I am confident that you will be able to figure the answer out there, right? However, last day, we were also finishing this piece here, and we were down to number 6. Number 6 here, and the final answer we said was chosen. However, we didn't get a chance to explain why the answer was chosen. So I'm just going to recap this line here and point out the grammatical error. After viewing a huge kite selection online, he had choose a red one. However, it should actually be, so our error here, grammatical error is chose a red one, but our answer is actually chosen. So now we must understand why we have, why we chose the word chosen. And I pointed out to you that the word chosen there, right, was actually the past perfect tense. And when we form the past perfect tense, we have had, the helping verb here, had, plus the past participle. And we looked at a number of words in the past tense and, of course, in the past participle as well. In explaining this, we had to understand what the past tense is and, of course, words that, regular words, I should say then, or regular verbs that are in the past participle. So, but we have to now explain the past perfect tense. When do we use the past perfect tense? the past perfect takes place before another past action. For example, I noticed that he had left his books behind. Notice here, noticed is in past tense, hence the reason it's a past action. We know it already happened. But your past perfect tense is actually had left. So we have your helping verb had, and it will actually be leave, left, left. So had left his books behind. Left there is in the past perfect, but what makes it past perfect is the use of that helping verb had. So that's how we are going to form the past perfect tense. So if you look at these sentences here, we have to actually use a helping verb and the past participle. So look at the verbs in brackets. Before you start calling, look at these verbs in brackets. For example, eat. You have to add that helping verb, just as what we did with had before. So right here, we had left. So now, we are going to use a helping verb. I'm not going to tell you which one. It might be had for all, right? Well, let's see. Plus your past participle of the verb eat. So the lines are going to be open. The numbers are going to be up on your screen. I know some of you already know these numbers by heart. You know, you have it on your last dial. That's great, okay? So call us and help us out here. So I'll probably get you started with number 1 so you have a clearer idea of what I want for this exercise. After he had something dinner, he washed up. In brackets, I have the verb eat. So to form the past perfect tense, after he had eaten dinner, he washed up. So notice here, to form my past perfect tense, I use the helping verb had as well as the past participle of the verb eat. Okay, guys, so just be mindful of that when you are answering the questions. So look at number 2. Somebody, something, the windows open. So this is similar to the example that we just saw there. So I'm going to give this caller a chance to help us get this answer. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Maya.
Maya. So we're on number 2, Maya. What is the answer there?
Somebody, something left windows open. Okay. Somebody had left the windows open.
Great job, Maya. Had left, okay? So the past tense will be left and the past participle there will also be left, right?
Okay.
Thank you. So we have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, good day.
Hi, good day.
The answer for number 3 is had snowed.
Had snowed.
Had snowed.
Why is that funny, Nicholas? Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, bye. So there was a lot of snow outside because it had snowed earlier that day, right? So that action we know was in the past already. Earlier that day suggests that for us. And of course, to form the past perfect tense, we use that helping verb. And of course, that verb in the past participle. Number 4. Before they got to the airport, there's something, the taxi driver. We have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Charlie, the sign.
Okay, nice to have you with us. So for number 4, what is the answer
Before
there?
we got to the airport, they had paid the taxi driver.
Can you spell paid
Had
for me? Can you spell paid?
P-A-I-E-D.
P-A?
P-A-I-E-D.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's how you spell paid?
P-I-D, sorry.
P-A-I-D. Thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it. So the reason I specifically asked her to spell the word paid, a lot of students misspell the word paid. Okay, guys? So if you're just learning it, you probably make a little mistake sometimes. Just be mindful of your spelling here. It may as well, come in the spelling section in that task 1 of your paper. And you don't want to make that error, okay? That's going to cost you a mark. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, good day.
Good day. What's your name?
Destiny Duncan.
Hi, Desiree. Destiny, sorry. Is Destiny right?
Yeah.
Okay, Destiny. So we are on number 5 here. His dog something 2 weeks ago.
Had died.
Had died. How do you spell died?
D-I-E-D.
Excellent job. Thank you so much for your call, Destiny.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So just to point out, guys, we know it's a past action because it happened 2 weeks ago, sorry. Hence the reason we use the past perfect tense here, had died. Once more, your past perfect tense is formed by using a helping verb and a verb in the past participle form. So now we have completed what we needed to in terms of adverbs and completing that sample piece there as we usually do. However, we are going to look at a couple rules with regards to subject-verb agreement. Now, we have already looked at a number of rules with subject-verb agreement. But like I said, there are many rules, probably as much as 20 or even more, right, when you're talking about subject-verb agreement. And you wouldn't believe it, but you know, probably 19 of these, out of these 20 rules might come for your essay, right? So not all at once, of course, but you have to be able to identify the error in that line, and then you have to know the rule in order to help you get the correct answer, right? So let's move on with these rules. So here's a rule for you. It's very common when we are writing to use a conjunction and, but you must know if two subjects are joined by and, whether the subjects are singular or plural, they usually require a plural form, right? So a plural verb form, that is. So I'm going to read this again. If two subjects are joined by and, so the two subjects here must be joined by the word and, whether the subjects are singular or plural, they usually require a plural verb form. For example, she and I are best friends. So you will not say she and I is best friends, right? Notice here your subjects, she, and your subject I, or your pronoun I here, both of them being your subjects, is joined by and. And once the two subjects here, she and I, are joined by and, I must use a plural form of the verb. Hence the reason I have are and not is. Okay, guys? Let's look at the second example. Joseph and Adam go to school together. My two subjects here, I have Joseph being one. Adam is my second subject. I am joined by and I must use your plural form of your verb. So Joseph and Adam go to school together. Right? So pay close attention to this rule. This is a very, a popular one that we come across all the time when we are writing, right? More often than you may think. So, good, I have an exercise for you here. So I'm going to see if you were paying attention. So you just have to remember the rule, and the rule is if two subjects are joined by and, all it usually requires a plural verb form. So let's look at these sentences here. And when you call me, you're going to give me the correct form of the verb. Remember, once again, this is the rule. If two subjects are joined by and, whether the subjects are singular or plural, they usually require a plural verb form. Right? So you have to know which verb here is in its plural form. So let's look at number 1. My cousin and his sister jog or jogs around the savannah every day. Right? Think about it before you call and you answer. The printer and the computer work or works well. Masood and his friends study or studies for the upcoming SCA exam. I'm just going to pause there and take this call. Good evening, caller. Welcome to C Results.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Maya.
Maya. So number 1 there, what do you think is the correct answer?
Okay. My cousin and his sister jog or jogs around the savannah every day. My cousin and his sister jog around the savannah every day.
So S or no S?
No S.
Excellent job, Maya. You are correct. Thank you so much for your call there. And just a reminder for you guys, do not confuse your singular and plural verbs with your singular and plural nouns. There's a difference, and I want you to remember the difference is with that S, okay? We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
What's your name?
Jada Thompson.
Hi, Jada. So we're on number 2 here. What is the correct form of the verb?
Work.
Work, S or no S?
S.
So works?
Yes.
Are you sure it works? So let's just
no.
go back. No, okay. I don't want to confuse you, don't worry. So let's just go back to this rule here a little bit, right? If the two subjects are joined by an, whether the subjects are singular or plural, they usually require a plural verb form. Now, let's just go back to the sentence. Let's first identify the subjects in this sentence. What is my first subject here? Jada, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the first subject in this sentence? Are you there, Jada? Okay, so I think we lost that, but just give me a minute to explain this, guys. So we must first identify the subjects in our sentence. We have the printer, and we have the computer. So notice we have two subjects. If the subjects are joined by and, which it is, right, it is followed by a plural verb form. And your plural verb here is actually work. Plural verbs do not end in S. Singular verbs in the plural form, singular verbs end with S. The plural verbs end with no S, okay? So it's just in a simple work and not work. So I hope that cleared that up a little bit for you, Jada. So keep looking at the rest of sentences here as we go through them, so we'll get a better idea. And of course, for everyone, right, who made the same mistake as Jada. Let's move on. Of another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Naomi Mohammed.
Okay, Naomi. So number 3 here. What's the answer?
The answer is study.
Study. Excellent job. Identify for me the subjects in the sentence.
Mustard and his friend.
Very good. Thank you so much for your call and your correct answer, okay? So our subjects here, once more, you're welcome. We have Masood and, of course, our subjects here. Our subjects here joined by and, right? So be mindful of that. Study here is the plural form of the verb, no S. Let's move on to number 4. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Jada again. Sorry about that.
Sorry? No problem, Jada. Okay, so try number 4 for us.
Ashley and I visit our relatives together.
So S or no S?
No S.
Very good, Jada. Thank you so much for calling us back, okay, and showing that you are confident. So great job there. So our subjects here, guys, she and I. We have she and then you have the pronoun I. Joined by and is followed by a plural verb. We have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello?
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Johnson.
Very good, Jada.
And I would like to
Caller, do you mind lowering your television, please? The volume on your television set.
Okay.
Thank you. Right, so help us out here with number 5. What is the answer here for number 5?
Swim.
Sorry?
The answer for number 5 is swim.
Swim, right? No S. Is that correct? S or no S?
No S.
Thank you. So great job there, right? So let's identify the subjects in the sentence. We have Brad and Chad. Joined by and, it is followed by a plural verb form. Once more, guys, your plural verbs do not end with S. Plural verbs do not end in S, okay? So great job. And this is a great rule for you to follow and to apply in your writing. So when we are correcting paragraphs on Edmodo, I am looking for this rule, okay? Usage of this rule and all that we have been learning so far. Let's move on to another rule here. Same subject-verb agreement. The pronouns, so look at these here. The pronouns each, everyone, everybody, anyone, none of, one of, someone, and somebody are singular and require singular verbs. So if somebody says each, or everyone, or everybody, anybody, or somebody, all of those are actually singular in meaning, right? And hence, the reason they take a singular verb or require singular verbs. So again, the pronouns each, everyone, everybody, anyone, none of, one of, someone, and somebody are singular and require singular verbs. So we use all of these pronouns quite regularly, don't we? Right? So once you are using the pronouns, any of the following here that we have listed for you, be sure to use a singular verb. Right? So let's look here. And just as a point here, a reminder, do not be misled by what follows off. So what follows the word off, right? So what that means, and we're going to understand it better in the example here, each of the girls dances well. Each of the girls dances well. So here I have off, right? This is what I mean when I say do not be misled by what follows off. So I do not want this to trick you, to confuse you, right, for you to get it wrong. So each of the girls dances wrong. So notice after off, it have the girls, right, which is plural in nature. And usually when we see the subject, the girls, it is followed by a plural verb. However, dances here is not plural, is it? Dances here is actually singular. So that's what we mean when we say the pronouns each, and all of these, of course. So in this case, is each of the girls dances well. So dances here is actually following each, the pronoun each. It's not agreeing with the girls at all, okay? It's actually agreeing with each. So each of the girls dances well because each here is singular. Singular subject will take a singular verb. Right, guys? So just be mindful of that. Let's move on to the second example. No one is standing now. So no one here again is your subject. It is singular in nature. It's going to take a singular verb. So I have my helping verb here is. So no one, so it's not going to be no one are standing. It's actually no one is standing now. Okay, so I have my subject here, no one. Once more, I'm using a helping verb is in its singular form, standing now. I hope that's clear for you and you understand this rule, right? All you have to be mindful of, your list of pronouns, and it's quite easily, you do not actually have to memorize it, but when you read a word, you're going to know its meaning, okay? So it's implied. So if I say none of, or everyone, or each, right, it's implied that it is singular in nature. So it's going to take or require singular verbs. So once more, the lines are open, and we are going to do a reinforcement exercise of this rule that we just learned. So remember, guys, once your pronoun is singular, it's going to take a singular verb. So look at this rule once more before you start calling. Familiarize yourself, especially if it's new to you, or probably you knew this before, but you just forgot because you haven't been practicing, right? So number one. Nobody wants or wants to go with her. One of the persons was or were given a ticket for reckless driving. Number three, has or have anyone seen my dog? Number four, somebody talk or talks too much. And I'm going to pause there as I have a call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Maya.
Hi, Maya. So, Maya, I'm guessing that you are really prepared for SCA?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I am proud of you. Keep working, right? So, let's look at number one here. What do you think is the answer?
Okay. Nobody wants to go with her.
Okay, so that rule again, if it's singular, it will require singular verb. So which of these here is singular? Is it want or ones?
Once.
Sorry?
Once. With S.
With an S. So what should the sentence read? Nobody
Wants to go with her.
excellent job. Nobody wants to go with her. So great job there, right? Thank you so much for your call. So guys, again, once more, once your subject is singular, it's going to take that singular verb. Or once your pronoun there is singular, it means it's going to take that singular verb. I have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to C Results.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name? Good evening, caller. Are you there? Caller, good evening. Okay, I'm not sure if we lost that there, but we have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to C Results.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Naomi Mohammed.
Hi, Naomi. So we're on number 2 here. What is the answer for number 2?
The answer is was.
Was. Very good. Right, so great job there. One of the persons was given a ticket for reckless driving. So we don't want to be confused by the persons, right? We don't want to be confused by the persons. Your pronoun here is one. So again, it's going to take a singular verb. Thank you so much for calling. We have another.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye. So we have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to C Results.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Faith Osborne.
Hi, Faith. So you're going to answer number 3 for me. What is the answer for number 3?
The answer is has.
Has anyone seen my dog? Excellent job, Faith. Thank you so much for calling and contributing to a correct answer. Right, so again, once more, guys. Anyone here is singular. So has anyone seen my dog? Thank you so much. We have another caller there. Good evening, caller. Welcome to C Results. Caller, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Lionel.
Sorry?
Lionel.
Okay, nice to have you with us. So we're on number 4 here. What's the answer for number 4?
Somebody talks too much.
Somebody talks too much. Thank you so much for your call and your correct answer. Right?
Thank you.
Okay, great job so far, guys. Have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to C Results.
Hi, this is Nicholas.
Yes,
For
Nicholas.
number 5 is not one of the boys is permitted to leave to school the compound.
Excellent job, Nicholas. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, bye, Nicholas.
Bye.
Okay, so great job, everyone. Right? So that's another rule there added to your grammar rules. Right? So you know that following any of the pronouns that we just listed, it must be followed by a singular verb. Right? So I'm just going to hold up on the calls there a little bit until we move on. We don't have much time left, so I'm just going to say how much more we can complete before I go. So just to remind you or recap, on the rules that we covered a few short moments ago. You know this one, if two subjects are joined by and, whether the subjects are singular or plural, they usually require a plural verb form. So be mindful of this rule and practice it in your writing. And that second rule there that we just came across, the pronouns each, everyone, everybody, anyone, none of, one of, someone, and somebody are singular, meaning they are singular in meaning, and require singular verbs. Right? So once that pronoun there is singular, use a singular verb. So I'm not going to go on into any more rules today. However, I just want to remind you guys, as usual, for last week and all that we have taught, quizzes are up on Edmodo. We usually post quizzes, new quizzes every Saturday morning, so look out for those. But right now we have some live quizzes for mathematics, ELA, and creative writing. So for ELA especially, we gave an assignment on adverbs. Please use what you have learned today and what you have learned last day on adverbs to help you, okay? I find that a lot of times, I don't know if students are not getting a chance to look at the videos, but clearly some are not before they are attempting the quiz. Remember, this is like an assessment for yourself. you want to test yourself on what you are learning. So be sure to learn the content before you attempt the quiz, okay? It's going to benefit you. I promise you that, right? And of course, there's mathematics and creative writing. Tomorrow we have mathematics and creative writing. Be sure to tune in live at 5, whether it's on Facebook or at home via television. And of course, once this video has ended, you can go back on our See Results page and rewatch the video. And for those of you who love YouTube, go to YouTube and search See Results, and there the videos will be spread out nicely for you. Okay, guys, so if you're just joining Edmodo, and as we say, joining Edmodo, we usually have quite a number of applications waiting for us, okay? So this is the class code. Please enter this code when you are joining, and then you will have the opportunity to answer, you know, or even do all of those quizzes. It's very beneficial for parents and for students. So, okay, guys, so that's the end of it for ELA today, but it has indeed been a pleasure being in your company, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, okay? Thank you. Do have a pleasant evening. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, guys.